Shalom, shalom, and welcome to another episode of God's Little Hummingbird, the podcast where we are reading through the Bible from the beginning to the end using the original languages as a guide. Today we're in 2 Chronicles chapter 11, reading from the New King James Version Bible. Yahweh, open our eyes, ears, and hearts to your truth and your truth alone. 2 Chronicles chapter 11, continuing the story of the split from Rehoboam and Jeroboam. This is really good. And remember, if you did not see this last Sabbath's video teaching, it's on YouTube now. It's labeled, I think, Jacob and Joseph are united and the prophecy of the two houses of Israel, or something like that. Listen to this all in conjunction together. Remember, also, this story is continued from 1 Kings 11 and 12. It's another account of it. These are like the history books. Remember that. Remember this part of the Bible. These are like the history books. They're recounting some of the historical things that happened. Okay, chapter 11. Now, when Rehoboam came to Jerusalem, he assembled from the house of Judah and Benjamin 180,000 chosen men who were warriors to fight against Israel, that he might restore the kingdom to Rehoboam. Why? Because the southern kingdom was now going to be comprised of Judah, Benjamin, and Levi. The 10 northern tribes now they're going to be ruled, first of all, by Jeroboam from Ephraim. Verse 2. So he gets a big army. He's going to go fight these Israelites that are with Jeroboam. And verse 2 says, But the word of Yahweh came to Shemaiah, the man of Elohim, saying, Speak to Rehoboam, the son of Solomon, king of Judah, and to all Israel in Judah and Benjamin, saying, Thus says Yahweh, You shall not go up or fight against your brethren. Let every man return to his house, for this thing is from me. Therefore they obeyed the words of Yahweh and turned back from attacking Jeroboam. There are some situations in your life where Yahweh is bringing about something where it's hard to handle, it's hard to deal with, but it's from Yahweh. Some of you have been divorced by your spouses who had evil hearts, and it's not what you wanted, and you fought for that marriage, but Yahweh freed you, and it's not what you wanted, but you had to submit because Yahweh was saving you. From the wickedness of the person, perhaps, or freeing you from somebody unequally yoked or who didn't love him. And however hard it is sometimes for these things where we have to submit to Yahweh's way, we have to remember his grace is sufficient for us. And Paul talks about that. Paul wanted healing so badly, and Yahweh said, No, I'm not healing you. There's a consequence for your actions. My grace is sufficient for thee. It was a thorn in his flesh, something to keep him humble. Moses didn't get to go into the promised land, but he was forgiven ultimately, but he did have a consequence for his actions. So there are things in life where we're going to have to learn always to submit to what Yahweh says and just obey, even if it doesn't seem right, or we want to fight it, or we want to rebuke the demons, so to speak. Sometimes Yahweh's doing a work that we just have to submit to. Okay, verse 5. So Rehoboam dwelt in Jerusalem and built cities for defense in Judah, and he built Bethlehem, Etam, Tekoa, Bet-Zur, Socho, Adulam, Gat, Marashah, Ziph, Adoraim, Lachish, Azekah, Zorah, Ajalon, and Hebron, which are in Judah and Benjamin, fortified cities. And he fortified the strongholds and put captains in them and stores of food, oil, and wine. Also in every city he put shields and spears and made them very strong, having Judah and Benjamin on his side. And from all their territories, the priests and the Levites who were in Israel took their stand with him. See, remember I says Judah, Benjamin, and Levi became the southern kingdom? For the Levites left their common lands and their possessions and came to Judah and Jerusalem, for Jeroboam and his sons had rejected them from serving as priests to Yahweh. It's not that Jeroboam was doing a good thing. Jeroboam decided to put up priests for himself of every class of people from whomever he chose, and that was a huge sin to Israel. Go back and read again at 1 Kings chapters, starting in for chapters 11 and 12. It goes all the way through a lot of the books of the chapters of the kings there, because Jeroboam acted very wickedly. He didn't trust Yahweh, and therefore that's why all of Israel got scattered, because it continued in his wicked sins. So the Levites, who were faithful to Yahweh, left the common lands from all around Israel and came to Jerusalem to stand with the house of David. Then he appointed for himself priests for the high places, for the demons, and the calf idols which he has made. So Jeroboam did this. And after the Levites left, those from all the tribes of Israel, such as set their heart to seek Yahweh Elohim of Israel, came to Jerusalem to sacrifice to Yahweh Elohim of their fathers. So they strengthened the kingdom of Judah and made Rehoboam the son of Solomon strong for 3 years, because they walked in the way of David and Solomon for 3 years. And you are going to notice that of the house of Israel, there is 0 king mentioned as doing well. Of the house of Judah, almost every other king says he loved Yahweh and was doing well. The Jews offended less, which is why they kept their identity as the Jews. That's why it says in Zechariah, the tents of Judah will be saved first. That's why the Jews returned to the land of Israel in 1948, because Yahweh has kept his promise, because obedience is better than sacrifice. And they did obey on some level. They were still punished. We have been punished as Jews many times. My family escaped from the Bolshevik Revolution and the persecution happening to the Jews at that point. Other families came over during the Holocaust or were killed during the Holocaust. I'm so thankful Yahweh spared my family from the Holocaust. But we were very identifiable as Jews. Most Jews kept their identity, and many Jews did return to Israel in 1948 after the Holocaust, but many didn't. And so some of them remain scattered around the world. But I just wanted to point out that they offended less because they always have kept in some semblance of fashion the Torah. Then Rehoboam took for himself as wife Mahalath, the daughter of Jeremoth, the son of David, and of Abihail, the daughter of Eliah, the son of Jesse, and she bore him children, Yeush, Shamariah, and Zaham. After her, he took Ma'achah, the granddaughter of Absalom. That's an important name to remember for later on. So Ma'achah, the granddaughter of Absalom, and she bore him Ahijah, Attai, Ziza, and Shelomith. Now Rehoboam loved Ma'achah, the granddaughter of Absalom, more than all his wives and his concubines, for he took 18 wives and 60 concubines, and begot 28 sons and 60 daughters. Was this of Yahweh? All things are lawful for me, not all things are beneficial. Never has it been beneficial in any story in Scripture to have multiple wives. Lawful? Perhaps. Beneficial? No. Lawful to sue your brother and sister when they do you wrong? Beneficial? No. We are to practice mercy, forgiveness, and like Paul says, why not just be wronged? Okay, so here's a case of that again. All things are lawful within the framework of the Torah. Of what is lawful, there are lawful things that are not beneficial to us. And by the spirit of the law, we learned that Yahweh actually called us to a higher level. Okay, verse 23. He dealt wisely and dispersed some of his sons throughout all the territory of Judah and Benjamin to every fortified city, and he gave them provisions in abundance. He also sought many wives for them. So this is a history thing, not telling us what we should do. But at this point, at least, he was serving Yahweh. His heart was humble on some level. Yahweh was blessing him, and he was acting, it says, wisely in certain ways. So history lesson for us. Combine this with 1 Kings 11, 12, and beyond, and the Bible study that you go through in the book of Hosea, and the one on the YouTube channel called, there's 2 of them now, about the 2 houses of Israel. So if you need help finding that stuff, please reach out at Melissa Schilling Smith on Facebook. Yahweh bless you all. Have an amazing day.